Board candidate forum. Yeah, and I'd like to introduce everyone up front here. The candidates from your left are Terry Landers, Lee Martin, Jerome Barnes, Eric Tiemann, and Rick Moore. And our moderator tonight is Sally Allen. So let's give them all a nice round of applause.
Our evening is going to go, and if you have a question that you're not hearing, please feel free to come up and slip me a card. There's paper and pencil up here. Each candidate is going to have 3 minutes to introduce themselves, kind of give an opener. After that, we will take a question at a time. They will have 1 minute to respond, and we'll vary who we start. So we'll start with Mr. Landers, and then we'll go around, and then we'll start and keep on going around that way. And then at the end, they will have 2 minutes to let us know kind of a wrap-up or anything else that they want to add. Anybody have any questions before we start?
We do have a microphone there.
Okay. Can you hear us this way, or would you prefer a microphone?
Do you have a microphone?
We do. Okay, we'll do the microphone then. We'll start down there. Okay. Mr. Landers, would you like to start?
Yes. And it works. Okay, my name is Terry Landers. I have lived in Raytown for the last 45 years. My wife, Susan, and I moved here after we graduated from college. I am a retired school teacher and administrator. I taught in the Raytown School District for 31 years. My wife also taught in the school district for 31 years. She was a kindergarten teacher over at Robinson. We've had 2 children go through the Raytown School District. And we, at the present time, have 2 of our grandchildren going to school in the Raytown School District. The other 4 of our grandchildren go to school in Florida, so they're a long way away, but we get to see them once in a while. As I said, I taught 31 years here in Raytown. I started out teaching elementary physical education, and then I went to Raytown Junior, which is Raytown Central now, and coached and taught health and physical education. And then I went to the central office and was the director of community education for 4 years. And then the last 15 years of my career, I was assistant principal and athletic director at Raytown High School. I've been on the school board for 6 years. I've been on the Raytown Parks and Recreation Board for 15 years. I've been on the Shepherd Center of Raytown Board for 12 years. And I've been on the Raytown Lee Summit Credit Union Board for the past 14 years. So I have done a lot of volunteer work in the Raytown city limits or the Raytown School District. It's something that I believe that needs to be done, and we need to be active and participate in this kind of activity after retired. I retired from teaching in 1996 and have been involved ever since. The sign here says that we have a timekeeper, I guess, so we're running short of time here. But I ran for the school board 6 years ago because I feel like that we need to be involved in what our students are doing. We need to keep active in that type of a program. At that time, there was some apathy going along, and I felt like we needed to change that or work towards changing that. And we started that. We have some financial problems still, but it's something that through the leadership of our superintendent we're working on, and I just want to continue being part of that process of doing what's best for our students here in Raytown.
My name is Lee Martin. I'm born in Raytown, lived in Raytown my whole life. Attended Raytown High School, graduated in 1987. Went to CMSU for 2 years. Came back, went into graphic arts. Was in that for several years and managed a warehouse out in Tingle and Lee Summit now. I've enjoyed Raytown my whole life. I've got 2 houses here in Raytown, and I love them both. I love my community, and that's why I'm here. The main thing to me is that if you want to have a good, strong community, you got to have good schools. It's the bottom line. I attended the Joe Herman Botech School, loved every minute of it. I'm really anxious to see where that's headed. It looks great. They've got a new facility. It looks beautiful. That's pretty much it. I haven't been around as long as Mr. Landers has. But I remember Mr. Landers going through school. Saw him almost every day. And it'd be a privilege to be sitting right next to him. So thanks for coming up, and I'm glad the crowd improved. I was a little nervous. There wasn't too many people here at first, but this was great. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. First, I want to thank the PTA Council for giving us this opportunity to share our vision of the Raytown community. My name is Jerome Barnes. I'm a long-time Raytown resident. I moved in Raytown back in, I think, 85, 86. Married my wife, and we moved to Raytown because of the school system. Back in the days, Raytown school system was one of the premier schools that people would want to move to Raytown and bring their kids. My wife and I have been married over 25 years. We have three kids, Donisha, Jerome II, and Jeremy, and they all was raised in the Raytown area. I've served in the military for 6 years, and after 30 years with the United States Postal Service, I retired as a labor specialist. And as a labor specialist, I dealt with MSPBs, EEOs, and arbitrations for the United States Postal Service. I've served the community of Raytown pretty much ever since I've been over here. I volunteered for Little League. I volunteered at the YMCA. I volunteered over at Our Ladies of Lord, the school here in Raytown. I served on Our Ladies of Lord School Advisory Board for probably the last 5 years. I've also served as Our Ladies of Lord Athletic Director for the past 5 years. I've also volunteered for the Boys and Girls Club. I was the president of Raytown Sports Association for some time. I also served on the PTA back in the early days over at Robinson. I'm running for the school board basically because, hey, I'm a retired employee and I want to give back to the community that I've been a lifelong resident in, you might say. And I want to see the young men and ladies of this community get a great education, because that's what it's all about. And the most important part of that is that they will be taking care of me in my elderly age. So I want to make sure that they have the knowledge and the skill to make sure that I stay here as long as possible. Thank you very much.
I'd like to thank everybody for coming out tonight. My name is Eric Tiemann. I'm a lifelong Raytown resident. I graduated from Raytown South High School. I have two beautiful daughters, one who attends Fleet Ridge Elementary and the other one who attends Raytown High, or Raytown Middle, not high yet. She's tall enough you might think she's in high school, but that's another issue. I decided to run for school board at the behest of a friend of mine who encouraged me to sign up and run. Because I really feel it's important that I get involved in my community. I've been here for, like I said, forever as far as I'm concerned. And you really have to, if you really want to be a part of the community, you got to get your hands dirty, get involved, and go to work for your community. And that's what I want to do. After I got out of high school, I went to college. I got my liberal arts degree from University of Missouri, Kansas City. After I got my liberal arts degree, I went on and graduated from Keller Graduate School with a master's in business. And I've been running my family's business since I was 15 years old. So I have the experience that is necessary when it comes to managing finances, when it comes to making tough decisions, and allocating resources. I mean, that's what I do on a daily basis. And now it's a chance for me to really get involved with my community and help my children out and help everybody else's children out to the best of my abilities. And I'm really excited about the opportunity to do so. And I really hope I can earn all your vote. Thank you.
It wasn't a very good friend that advised me to run for school board, was it? Probably somebody thought you could do a good job, but my name is Rick Moore, and I'm running for school board because I have 3 kids in school, 3 different kids, and they're under the mistaken impression that I have something to do with calling off school on snow days, and so I just want them to keep thinking that, but I don't have anything to do with that. They're not that smart. They think they'd get a snow day and keep going to school. But the youngest one, he doesn't want any more snow days because he knows he's going to be going to school when it's nice. But I have served on the board now for 6 years. This is the 3rd time I've run for school board. I've been a lifelong resident of Raytown. I went to Robinson Elementary School back when Harlan Larson was the president there, the principal there. And I actually went to school with Julie White. Some of you may know her when she was a student. We were students there at the same time. She ended up being principal there for a period of time. And I went to Raytown Junior High, as Mr. Landers mentioned, when it was called Raytown Junior High, and then now it's Raytown Central. And then I graduated from Raytown High in 1981. I graduated from Southwest Baptist University in '85, and I also, besides just being on the school board, I served on the Raytown Board of Aldermen for 8 years, from 1989 to 1997. So I do have experience the last 6 years of being on the school board and making, we've gone through a lot of turbulent times and still have times in front of us where difficult decisions have to be made, but I think we've come through them. Right now, we don't know what the future holds with us financially as far as the state and federal governments are concerned. Our funding is very dependent on state revenues, so, but we have done a very good job of holding the line on funds, on taxpayer dollars the last few years and cutting expenses in a controlled manner and watching how we spend, but yet maintaining our programs in a very excellent way. And really, I started off jokingly about my 3 kids, but that is the reason I'm running. I have three different schools, elementary, middle school, and high school, so that keeps us busy. But I want to continue on the board because I think I've got a lot of experience and learned a great deal. There's a big learning curve when you come on the Board of Education. A lot of information goes by you in a short amount of time. So I want to keep having input in the direction of the district, which I think is headed in the right direction, and I think we still have the best education of any district around here.
Thank you very much.
Okay, Mr. Martin, would you like to take the first question? And then we'll just go down the row, and if each of you will just answer what you think. If you have a timekeeper, you'll have 60 seconds.
Your first question. Many board members come into the position with a goal for the district. What is yours, if you do have one?
I don't really have a goal or any objective other than to make things keep going. I didn't state earlier that I don't have any kids in school, so I don't have any personal agenda for them. I think it's important for all of them. I think the main thing is just to keep things going and make sure everybody is taken care of. I know there's going to be tons of issues that I have no even clue of, that I'm not even aware of yet, and I'm sure they'll all be informed of them. But I think the main thing is that whatever decision you have to make, it's just right for the kids, and it's right for the teachers. And if you can take care of just those 2 people, I think you'll have success.
Okay. What are my goals for the district? Was that the question?
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
How many board members come into the position with a goal for the district? What is yours?
How many do you want me to tell you about? No, just
60
kidding. Just
seconds
kidding. Just
worth.
kidding. Okay. Hey, you know, I've been able to look at some of the scores of our schools here in Raytown, and I'm just flat out dissatisfied with them. You know, our average AC test is 19.5 for Raytown. I looked at Lee Summit's, theirs is 23.5. One of my goals would like to see that improve. I would like to see us meet our AYP. I would like to see that we attract and keep quality teachers, and I would like to see us give those teachers the tools that they need to be successful and get those scores up to where we can be proud of Raytown again and bring in more people that want to come to Raytown because of the school system. So that would be my main objective.
Thank you very much.
My goal for the district would be to, well, A, keep it on the sound financial footing that it's currently on. I think our school board has done a fantastic job of managing our school's finances through such a difficult economy over the past 3 or 4 years now. So that would be one of my primary goals, to make sure that we continue to make wise decisions with taxpayer money. And then on top of that, to really work to, as Jerome was saying, to increase that 19.6 average on the ACT. That's the standard test that people have to take to get into college. College may not be right for everybody, but for the ones who it is right for, they need to be able to make sure that they have the knowledge and the tools and the resources so that they can get into whatever college they want to get into, particularly the state universities. Central Missouri's baseline, their benchmark is 21, and we're not even averaging the base mark to get our students to Warrensburg for college. That's just unacceptable. I don't want that to be the case for my daughter, so those would be my 2 primary goals. Thank you.
Well, the goals we come into office with aren't necessarily the goals that we have after 6 years of being on the board. But when I came in, my goal was to have a say in the direction of the district. And as board members, we do have that. But specifically, my goal is to see us to continue on the path toward achieving high performance. Distinction in performance is what the state calls it, but high performance, see all of our students excelling and achieving at a very high level. I am proud of our district. I think there is no better education, like I mentioned before, around. And I think a goal of mine has been and continues to be to promote that vision and let people know that we are proud of our district, and to encourage people to move here, to live here, to stay here, and that when you send your kids here, you can be confident they're going to be receiving the very best education possible. And I think that is a hard goal to achieve, but one we can do.
Thank you.
Achievement with our students. And our staff, along with our superintendent and his leadership team, has been doing this for the last 3 years, and it would be a goal of mine, and I think of our board, to continue this direction for our students, and that's the bottom line that we all work for, is what's best for our students.
Thank you. Mr. Barnes, if you'd like to take the next one. Okay, our next question. Since retaining quality staff is number 1 on the Raytown Schools mission statement, how would you address the problem of high staff turnover at some buildings?
Okay, on the clock. I tell you, most teachers, but I'm not a teacher, but I've been around a lot of them that don't get a lot of pay. But most of them are willing to get the job done if they have the tools and the material to work with. I think that if we give them the tools and the material to work with, and maybe the little pay, that they would be willing to stay here and give us their best. Teachers are, they are first line And we need to make sure that we treat them like that. If I'm elected to the board, the teachers in the community and our parents would need to be heavily involved with our kids' education. And I think that's the way we can keep them, is that we give them tools and support them. We'll keep them here in Raytown.
I think the biggest key in any in employee happiness, regardless of profession, the most important thing that's often referenced when it comes to employee happiness is their work environment. It's not pay, it's not benefits, it's work environment. They want to be happy where they're working, they want to feel comfortable where they're working. And I think the most important thing is to provide our teachers with a work environment where they are able to go out and teach the children, not feel restrained, but most of all, feel comfortable and happy in the place that they're working. Environment is often cited as the most important thing for job happiness, and if you want to keep quality employees, you have to keep them happy. If you want to keep them happy, you have to provide them with a good work environment, which includes providing them with all the resources that they may need, but also providing them with good space and manageable classes.
One of the things I'm proudest of over the last few years is the strong support I've had from the teachers groups. I think that's because they know that I argue strongly for competitive pay and benefits, and how important it is that we remain competitive. And, you know, I'm sad that we haven't been able to do anything the last couple of years, but I agree with the decisions that we haven't been able to do pay increases in the last year because of the financial situation in the economy as a whole. But when we're talking about high staff turnover specific buildings, that is as much an issue of leadership and issues with good principles in those buildings. And that's one thing this board has tried to address in recent years, is making sure that we hold leaders, our superintendent accountable, and he, along with his administration, holds building administrators accountable. And if there's high turnover at specific buildings, then that's situations that they need to address and hopefully install good leadership in those buildings to address high turnover.
Sometimes when you're the third or fourth person to answer the question, you can just say ditto, and that kind of covers the whole thing. I think to expand on that issue just a little bit, it's more than just staff turnover in specific buildings, but it's the quality of staff that you lose throughout the district that we need to look at, and we need to, as Ben said, we need to offer safe facilities, we need to offer support, we need to offer good pay, quality pay, and these things will help retain our quality staff, and then also accountability through our leadership. If we hold our leaders accountable, that carries over down to the staff itself.
I'd have to say that those were all great answers, and but I think the main thing, and I'm sure it's been asked, is just why. And if you have to get a hold of them as they're walking out the door and ask them why and make them tell you. You know, do they not like where they park? Do they not like their boss? Other than that, I don't know of any issues that are happening. I mean, everybody wants more money, but that doesn't mean the grass is always greener. Sometimes there's more stress. Sometimes eliminating some stress off the teacher is what they really need. I don't know exactly how to go about doing that, but I'm sure we can figure that one out. New coffee pot or whatever the case may be. So that's it.
All right, our next question. Do you believe our children's voices should be heard?
Absolutely. Should I go on? Sorry. Look, educating students, I mean, that's providing a service to your students, which pretty much means your students are your customers. And if you don't know what your customers are thinking, you're losing. You have to know what your students think. Even the kindergartners, third graders, fifth graders, middle schoolers and high schoolers. They all have an opinion. It may not be all as well developed as the next person, but they all have an opinion. It all needs to be listened to, and if you really want to know what the issues are for the person learning, then you need to ask the person learning, why this, why that. You have to listen to the students. They're the most important cog of the whole education system.
Well, we just got back from a 4-hour road trip to St. Louis, and no, I don't think children should be heard. I think there's different ways that we can listen to kids' viewpoints, and I do think our superintendent is doing that on a regular basis. He's trying to establish rapport with students at different buildings and get their input on different things. And some things we've even seen at some of our different meetings and conferences is some districts have started an idea of having student involvement at board meetings, and that's something that we could possibly look into in the future, something along that line. So yes, we need to listen to what the kids are saying, because they definitely have some input that, you know, they're in the buildings, they're our customers too, so we need to listen to what they're saying.
As Rick said, our superintendent is very cognizant of this, and our building principals are too. As a board member, you will be assigned to different ad hoc committees and what have you. And in every case, there has always been a student, either from the high school, middle school, elementary school, on a committee that I've been assigned to. So I think it's important that you listen to students. I think it's important at the building level that the administrators and teachers listen to students. As stated before, there are what we're working for, and they do have concerns and they have ideas, and a lot of times those ideas can be implemented for the betterment of everybody.
Wow, Terry, you're right. By the time you get down to being about the fourth one, the answers are all taken. I think the only thing I could add to any of that is that we all encourage the parents of the kids to tell us when the kids are home, to come home and they've got a complaint. I think sometimes the parents probably are listening to the kids and they're not reporting back to us either. So yes, we do definitely need to hear from the kids, and I think we also do need to hear from the parents.
Ditto. No. I agree with all the candidates here on the stage. I'd just like to add a little to that. My son knows that I'm running for the school board, and I told him I need him to pick me a theme to help me out during this process. And he said, well, Dad, here's what I got for you. He said, I think that our will is more important than your IQ at this time. So yeah, we should listen to our students. They have great ideas. So our will is more important than our IQ at this time.
Okay, next question. How would you go about keeping our schools safer?
There's a lot of different things we can do. Specifically, we've addressed this issue by really focusing on safety as a board goal. And one of the things, if you've been in the buildings, I'm sure you have, you've seen signs around in all the different places we've recently installed. Several hundred, the signs say 500, I think it's very close to that number, 500 new cameras in the buildings, around the buildings, so we can make sure that our students, our staff are safe, our patrons are safe when they come into the buildings, because that gives people a confidence in the district, knowing that their kids are safe here, and that's just one less thing for them to worry about. We've been on the news recently for safety, things we put on our buses to make sure kids aren't left on buses. So we really focus on that. We've sent board members recently in the recent years to conferences so they can learn about different safety issues. So that's something that we do strive for, and we do place a great deal of importance on.
In our audience, we have our three other board members. We have Kathy Mack, Amy Tittle, and Bobby Salisbury, but On the issue of safety, Kathy Mack took this on as a project when she first got on the board, and she has been, and Christy DeLauber, I'm sorry, she's back there in the back too. But Kathy Mack took this on as a project, and the rest of the board has gone with it, our superintendent, and as Rick was quoting, the number of cameras that we have and the number of, we have security officers in our building. But another thing that we can do, and I think our buildings are doing a great job of it, and that is we're monitoring the hallways with our teachers and our staff. And when you have teachers out there, students are going to feel a little bit safer, and you're going to have a safer facility or a school going along. And that's been a big emphasis lately is teacher monitors. And Christy, I apologize.
As far as safety goes, I think the Raytown schools have improved more than they ever have. I mean, when I was coming here, the swing sets, jungle gyms, they were all on asphalt. Busted my tail a few times. And overall, with all the cameras, the fences that have all gone up, I think it's been great what we've done. To improve on that, I think it's just down to little things. Maybe it's some safety education for the teachers to help them out, getting that information to them so they can watch over the kids themselves even more efficiently or better. But I think we're doing great in that area, other than just making sure that the community around the school is safe. That's another issue that you have to do. You need to work with the police department, fire department, ambulances, your alderman. They're a part of all the safety of the school too, just not the school district.
Okay. What was that question one more time?
How would you go about keeping our schools safe?
Oh, okay, great. Well, first of all, in order to keep the school safely, we must review our current safety policy as far as with the schools, and keep reviewing it on an ongoing basis. Because our schools is just like any other community. Our kids are on Facebook, they're on email, you got bullying. We need to make sure our teachers are up to snuff. We should have training with our teachers to recognize what bullying is all about. Make sure our teachers are up to the latest of what's going on in our school. And that way, if we keep reviewing this process, we can update it as we go and keep up with the time. Because times are changing, students are changing, they're getting much smarter. They're a lot smarter than we are, believe it or not. So, but if we keep reviewing and staying up on top of it, our schools will stay safe. So that's what I would recommend.
One of the cool programs that they have, at least in the elementary school level, is the Watchdogs program. I think that's been a very good and effective program that they've used in the elementary level to keep the children safe at the elementary school level. As was mentioned before, they have the teachers patrolling the halls. But something, you can kind of dig back into history and kind of find some good techniques that were used in the past to and bring them back, kind of go retro to find help with the safety. And that's, take your quality students, your top-end students, and make them hall monitors. Who's going to have a better feel for what's going on amongst their classmates than the students themselves? You put them in a position of authority and allow them to excel. So, that's just one idea that just came to the top of my head while I was sitting here, because everybody else did a pretty good job of covering most of the safety issues at the school. But, something that nobody mentioned, hall monitors. There were some good ideas back in the day, and just because we moved past a lot of them doesn't mean that they're no good anymore.
Next question. What kind of relationship should the district and the board have with its communities, parents and families?
Well, there needs to be open communication between school board members, patrons, community leaders, students. We're all in this same community, and we're here for the same purpose, and that's to make Raytown a better place. And as a school board, we're here to improve our students and their achievements, but I think you have to have an open line of communications from top to bottom all the way through.
Yeah, it doesn't get much better than that. Like Terry said, everybody has to just work together. Whether it's the old Raytown Roundup days, I don't even know what they call it now, but Summerfest. You know, making sure that the people that are on Summerfest are getting in touch with the schools to get the kids involved, making sure the schools are getting in touch with the Summerfest program to make sure they're involved. And so putting all that together, making it all work, it takes work. And it's important that all the information, I mean, we got this superhighway now of information, and it's so, sometimes it's so overwhelming that that's all, people don't even look it up anymore. So it's a tough one, but it's also an easy one because information's out there. You just gotta keep shoving it out there and keeping people involved.
What kind of relationship should the board have with the community?
What kind of relationship should the district and the board have with its community, parents, and families?
Well, I think we should hire a priest and get married. Well, what I mean by that is, you know, I think we are one of each. You know, we represent the community, and we should be open and transparent with the community in our with the district. I think that's what really makes the system works, is that we operate as one, and we only just represent them in this forum, in our forum. So,
I think that the relationship that the school board and the school district that they should have with the community should be a relationship of service. That's what the schools are here to do. They're to provide education to the kids, and we're as school board members supposed to do everything in our abilities to support that effort. Whatever the situation may be, it needs to be with, you know, keeping in mind that we're trying to provide a service to the kids, and that service is to educate them. So more than anything, I think the relationship should be about service.
It is imperative that we maintain a good relationship with patrons of our community, because more and more we are relying on local funds to support our school district. We cannot rely on state funds the way we used to be able to. We also have to rely and make sure we maintain that good support and good relationship with the community, because without it we wouldn't be sitting in this building right here, right now. We have this building and several other new construction projects within the last couple of years that were funded because the patrons of this community thought they were wise things to do and wise things to fund. I think Lee Summit definitely has had a good relationship with this community, but we've seen in just the last few weeks since their levy lost, I think is obviously the economy. You can't discount that, but people also saw a district that just continually spent money in places that didn't seem like they needed to spend so much money. And I think people see that this board and this district spends this money wisely. We don't have the very finest of everything, but we have the best, and we maintain what we have in the best manner possible. So I think that's a good way to maintain good relations with the community.
As a school board member, how would you address the budget issues as they relate to the arts program?
Just to the arts.
That's what the question asked. Expand on it however you like.
Well, for me, art was, I guess, involved everything from music to art. I was in the band. I was in the jazz band, sang in voice choir in the elementary school. Art's important. It reflects even in your math test and scores. It's all related. I've understood, starting to realize that this is becoming quite an issue. It was an issue for Lee Summit. And I'm watching my nephews over there. They're going to get their music programs got apparently they're gonna get cut. We'll see next year. As far as dealing with it, it all comes down to one thing, and that's money. I don't think that any one group is more important than another group. I think they're all equal. Having kids involved in any program is good. And I think art is great. I think it's a great way. So.
I agree that art needs to stay. Art is, we need to keep art, and I would like to see that, we have some of the top paid teachers in this area, and I just think that art is a form that we can't do without. And so my position on art is that we would do everything in our power to make sure that the kids have that part, that they have art in the schools.
I think art, along with every other extracurricular activity, is very important for all of our students. Statistics over and over show that children who participate in extracurricular activities, including art and music, but as well as sports, they do better in school. And so I think if you want to see the results on the grade card, you need to provide children and young adults with an outlet, with whether it's art, music, shop, football team, basketball team. I was a wrestler. So yeah, they definitely need to be supported. You have to, I'm all about expanding opportunities for individuals. And so every individual has a different idea of what they're really looking for and what will really help them succeed. And that includes art, and that includes music, and that includes football, and that includes basketball, and whatever other extracurricular activity is out there. So I'll be an ardent supporter of every extracurricular activity because I believe it's crucial to a full, well-rounded education.
Last year, when we were going through some major budget cutting and going through a lot of different items, and a long list of items, cutting 4th and 5th grade orchestra was on that list. I vehemently opposed that idea. We did not cut those programs, thankfully, and I will continue to vehemently oppose any cutting of those kind of programs. Like was mentioned, it is proven that kids in those kind of programs do better in school. If student achievement is our priority, then we should not be cutting those kind of programs. And I will continue to oppose any cuts in those areas as long as our finances stay in a situation where we don't have to borrow any money to pay our bills.
Again, it's a proven fact that students who participate in the arts programs, the extracurricular activities programs, stay in school, do better in school, achieve better on achievement tests, are happier while they're here. As far as the question is what do you do if budgets put you in a situation where we have been and where we have to look at what we need to reduce in order to maintain our budget where it needs to be. I think it's programs you have to look, but I think it's one of the last ones that you really need to take a hard look, or you need to take a hard look at it, and it's one of the last ones that you need to deal with. But there are times that it might cause a reduction, and these are hard decisions that we have to make, but they're decisions that we have to make. But as Mr. Moore said, we didn't do that last year. We're not looking at doing it now, but there are things that happen.
Next question. How can you contribute to a successful board meeting?
Okay. That was pretty easy, I believe. First of all, I would make the meetings that the board has scheduled, special meetings that are scheduled. First, second, come prepared when I do make the meetings. Third, make sure that my vote is always in the best interest of the students in our community. And fourth, make sure that I communicate and be visible in the district when I'm not at board meetings. So when I do come to board meetings, I have a clear understanding of what is going on out there in our schools.
First thing I can do to contribute to a successful board meeting is to be quiet and listen. To listen to what the issues are, understand them, and make sure I have a full understanding of what, in an effort to be redundant, to understand what the issue is. But second, beyond that, I have a very creative mind. I like to solve problems and come up with issues, or not come up with issues, but come up with ways to, yeah, right? But I like to come up with ways to solve issues and not necessarily, you know, an out-of-the-box solution. You know, I tend to think out of the box and think of new ways to achieve the desired goal. So I think one of the ways that I'll be best able to help the school district is by coming to the meetings with good ideas every meeting, every month or twice a month. And but to do that, to come up with those ideas, first you have to listen. First you have to quiet yourself so you can hear what's going on, because the person talking hears nothing.
Probably the thing I try to do most is I try to ask effective questions. Doesn't always happen, but I just believe in asking the right questions of the right people to get the information that you need to know. And sometimes, even if you know it, ask a question because somebody in the audience may need to know that information too, because sometimes people do come to our board meetings. But I think it's important to ask the right questions, and so you fully understand the issues involved, and to come prepared to the meetings. Specifically about our meetings, one thing, for several years I was a big proponent of moving to an electronic-based, computer-based system of running our meetings, and we did go to that about 2 years ago, and I think that has been an effective way to run our meetings, and it's also been a way that's allowed patrons to have more access to more information about what's going on at the board meetings. So I think that's been effective also.
We get our agenda usually a week before we have the board meeting, so it's important that we do our homework once we get the agenda. We have an idea of what's going on. We have questions developed if we're going to need to ask questions, and then during the meeting we can ask them. We need to be able to give our input on certain issues at the proper time, and when we're asked to give our input, and then at the end of the day or the end of the evening when there's a vote taken, we need to vote our conscience and do what we want to do or what we think we should do, but then we have to support whatever the decision is made. So it's do our homework, come prepared, give our opinion, accept the opinion of others, take the vote, and support the board at the decision it made.
I think the best thing I have to offer is my endurance and my patience and listening. I think the next thing I need to do, and any of us that need to do, is just take the responsibility for your decision, and then supporting that decision and supporting your other board members.
Since Raytown schools are having to have larger class sizes because of budget cuts, what discipline policies would you endorse to help teachers maintain a productive, effective classroom?
Good question.
My experience so far with the disciplinary program for the school district has been the VIST program at the elementary school. And I think all in all, that's been a pretty effective program at the elementary school. Luckily for me, I've got an angel for a daughter, and she's in middle school, so I haven't really run into the discipline program at the middle school yet. So one thing I know is I don't think you can just take a big broad brush and discipline. I think you have to set your ground rules, and then you have to adjudicate upon a case-by-case basis to find out what the facts of the situation were, and respond accordingly. But I believe in steadfast rules and firm punishment, whatever the case may be. So,
Could you repeat that question, please?
Since Raytown schools are having to have larger class sizes because of budget cuts, what discipline policies would you endorse to help teachers maintain a productive, effective classroom?
Well, first of all, I'm not going to go along with that premise that we're having larger class sizes due to budget cuts. In some isolated cases, we may have some larger class sizes, but overall, we do not have larger class sizes this year because of budget cuts. We have been cutting the budget, and we have reduced some staff, but we have not reduced staff to the point where we're having to increase class sizes very much above what they've been on average. So if there is a case where something like that were to happen that causes some situation that needs to be dealt with, I think we have systems already in place to deal with that. We have capable administrators of the building, we have interventionists, we have different programs like the BISWA that Eric mentioned. So we have programs in place that can help teachers, help the students if that does become an issue.
I think one of the things that we're doing as a district, not so much maybe as the discipline policy, but is our parent communication with our teachers communicating with our parents. And this is alleviating a lot of problems. We had a report at our last board meeting, or the one before, on the number of out-of-school suspensions and long-term suspensions and ISSs, and these things are going down. So if our class sizes were to be going up, whatever we're doing, and the support we're giving our staff, the number of long-term suspensions and stuff is going down. So I think what we have in place with what we're looking at, and teachers monitoring the hallways and getting the support from the administrators is a work in progress, but it is working, and I think it's something we can just continue to do.
I'm not sure what our disciplinary policy completely is in the Raytown schools as a whole. I'm sure I'll be informed at some point in time. But, as far as large class sizes, I don't think they'll ever get as big as when I was here at Blue Ridge. We had 2 teachers in one room, and I can't remember how many students there was in there. There had to be 30 or 40 of us, if not more. The only thing I can say about disciplinary actions is I think it just needs to be a swift action. I've seen it 100,000 times in a grocery store or even at Walmart, and parents are just sitting there giving idle threats to their kids. And I don't think our teachers need to be doing that. It just needs to be an action. They have a reaction, and the teacher's just going to have an action, and then that's it. I don't think we need to be sitting around saying, well, you better stop that in that building. So.
Large class sizes and disciplinary programs. I like Lee said here, I'm not sure of the discipline policy, but I'm quite sure that Raytown does have a discipline policy that enforces rules and regulations. And it goes back to the safety of the school. We need to always review our policies. We need to adjust them as time progresses. In today's society, things change overnight sometimes, and we need to adjust as we go along. But I do believe that safety is one of our #1 concerns, is that we want our kids to in a safe learning environment. And if Raytown class sizes do have to increase, I think we do need to review and adjust the discipline policy as necessary, as we see fit.
I believe we ended 8, is that correct, Lou? Okay, so I have tried to do most of the questions, or at least a sampling representation. I invite you to stick around and discuss any questions you may have with the candidates after this, but I'm going to give each candidate a minute to go ahead and wrap up their thoughts for the night. So would you like to go ahead and start?
So I get to start. All right. The hardest thing about this evening was maintaining the time thing. That 60 seconds goes by fast. I think it's going to not go by fast. But I was going to mention one thing. It may seem a little bit odd that I would mention this, but it kind of encapsulates several things. And it's something that's an issue that I supported for a long time since I came on the board. And in the last couple of years, we put turf fields at both of our high schools, at Chitwood and at South. And some people thought, well, that's kind of a crazy thing, an extravagance you shouldn't be doing in these tight budget times. But, you know, it's the things like that. You have to look at all the details and all the costs and the true ramifications because that issue, you look at turf fields, the cost per student of number of kids that get to use those fields, the different activities, all the different things that go on in those fields now, based on what we were spending for just a few kids to use that field one time a week, is a fraction of the price. And that goes along with what we were talking about before, extracurricular activities. More kids involved, doing more things like that, increases student achievement. So that's something just that goes to show that I am concerned about the finances and the achievement levels of our students. Thank you.
I'd like to thank all of you for coming out tonight, for giving us this opportunity to meet and discuss some of our ideas with you. One of the important things is, after tonight, and in April 5th after the election, is that you people don't say, okay, now we've elected them and let it go. Stay involved with your board. Whoever's elected, they need to hear from you. They need to know what's going on. They need to know what your opinions are and what your concerns are. Again, thank you for the opportunity. Have a nice evening, what's left of it, and we'll talk with you later. You can come to one of these tomorrow night out of Reeve if you want to.
Yeah, once again, thanks for showing up. I think Raytown is great. I think the school board is doing a wonderful job. We've got great facilities here. Everything's beautiful and it's looking good. And we just need to maintain it. We need to keep it up. And we just need to listen to what the teachers and the parents and the students want and what they need. So I look forward to hopefully working with everybody up here. And I think this is great. Thank you.
I know that all the questions are gone, but before I say anything, I want to just thank the PTA Council for inviting us out here tonight to let us share our views with you. I don't know, sometimes what I like to see in Raytown School District is more retired teachers, more retired administrators stepping up to the plate, because that's what this community needs. We're in a financial situation now. We need people that have been there, done that, and not sitting at home on the couch, okay? And like I said, my son told me it's more I will these days than it is IQ. My goal here is to make sure that preparing our students for the future should be our #1 goal. And the way we can do that is with some experience. People know what they're doing. They had opportunity to get out, and now they can come back and give to our community. And again, I've been in Raytown for a long time. I don't plan on going nowhere, but I want your assistance, and I want to be able to help, and I want to be out there to let you know that we're giving our kids the best that they have. Thanks.
I also would like to thank the PTA and all of you for taking your time out of your evenings and coming and listening to what we have to say on the issues that are in front of our school board and our school district in the coming years. I think it's very exciting. I think everybody in this room should be very proud of the school board that they have, the school district they have. The superintendent we have is just a wonderful person. If you haven't gotten a chance to meet him, you definitely should. And I just am really excited about the opportunity to possibly be able to work with these people because they're doing fantastic work and they're doing yeoman's work. They have very tough decisions that are coming that they've already made, and more that are going to be coming down the road. And I just really would appreciate your vote on April 5th. Let me get out there, get my hands dirty, and help these guys out.
Thank you very much to the candidates for all attending this evening. And again, please feel free to come up and chat with them, and we are dismissed.